Hello, and welcome back to the Alex and Steiner Show. Before you guys leave in this 15-second viewership duration that we average, just a couple of things. Go check out the Instagram at Alex and Steiner Show on Instagram. And go check out our Clips channel. You could just find that. I'll link it. And yeah, we're here today with Steiner.
Go on.
Yeah, and I've been gone for a while. It's been about a week and a half because I did go over to Steiner's house. We had a little bit of shenanigans, and then I went over to California. And yeah, we got a couple of things from then. And yeah, so I went over to your house, and some interesting stuff happened. Like, we went bowling.
Yeah, we
Okay, so let's explain the bowling first.
hold on. We gotta start with the first one. The first one was good. So
The first bowling trip, or
yeah.
what?
Well, yeah,
Okay.
we'll explain this. So the first day we're there, we go to this nice bowling alley that it's pretty quality, I must say.
It's a nice bowling alley that we went to, and I've been to a lot worse. Let's just say that.
Yes, and so we ended up going to this nice bowling alley, and I had found this ball that was sitting on a chair that was probably someone else's ball. It was brand spanking new.
It was really fucking scuffed up too. It was like, I mean, not really, but it was pretty scuffed up.
But it was still like a fairly like $150 custom ball, and because I'm a double hooker with my balls in general in life.
The double hooker, ooh,
double hooker in general and in life with bowling. So that plays a lot, but so yeah, the double hooker. So I need like fancy finger holes to do it, and if I can only have my fingertips in the holes, I can get better spin on the ball. So anyway, that's besides the point. So I found this bowling ball, did really good with it, scored a 200. It's pretty good.
That did happen.
And I was like, okay, I needed to buy this bowling ball. So I talked to the lady, and she's like, $30. And I'm like, okay, you got a deal, $30.
Which is a bit overpriced in my opinion, because honestly, it should have been free because it's a scuffed up bowling ball that's then just sitting out there. But honestly, it was a pretty nice storm ball, so like you could have gotten worse.
So now I've gotten this nice bowling ball, and I'm ready to get official here and start bowling a lot. So Alex, we ended up saying to the next, or 2 days later, we were like, we're gonna go to a movie. So we were going down to this movie, and then we're like, nah, we're bagging the movie. We're gonna go bowling. Actually, this happened while we were at home, but so I got my storm ball, and we had gotten to this bowling alley. But the bowling alley we decided to go to was this place called Round One. And if you know anything about Round One,
yeah, it's basically just your like run-of-the-mill shit mall bowling alley that is just like you walk in there, and there's like the bowling alleys to your left, and then to your right, you just have like rows of like arcades, and it's just full of dweebs dressed up as like fucking fairy tale characters, running around and picking their fucking boogers. And for some reason that night, there was like a group of like 30 like teenage girls that were all dressed up in like old timey, like strange ass fucking clothes, like
vampire ass shit.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It was just like, it was so fucked up, and they were just walking around. Like one of them was like this black chick with like a white boyfriend that was just completely normal, and most of them were like way obese. And yeah, so basically just a shit place. Like, I mean, it's nice because you can get some like really good cheap ass bowling, but aside from that, there's nothing else about it that's any good.
So I'm a snob with bowling alleys. I should probably say this. And so this bowling alley, oh shit, I will just start with like, it's not up to grade, not even close to how it needs to be waxed.
Not how it's supposed to be.
And I think I've done this before, Alex. I think I've taken a leveler to that, and I think it was like net -2. Like
you took a leveler to a bowling alley? What?
No, it's like the phone one, but.
Okay, gotcha. I was imagining you walking in there with like one of those whole ass like construction worker ones that's like a foot long, and you're just like laying it down there. You're just shake your head.
I would actually.
Okay, that makes a little more sense.
So I tried my hooker. My double hook wasn't working. So then I'm like, okay, this really fucking sucks. And the reason it wasn't working is because it wasn't waxed very good. So the ball could just it wouldn't keep slipping from the wax. So it kept curving too much. And I tried to like even start out way left, which is not what you're supposed to do in bowl, and nothing was working. So I was like, fuck this. Well, and Alex was like, yeah, we're at the time now. We were looking at each other and we're like, yeah, fuck this.
Yeah, I
So
was like the whole time I was just kind of like doing my own thing, doing like a couple of spins, but then like at one point after like 3 games of just like shitting it up, we just decided to like, hey, fuck it, we're here at the shit alley, might as well not ruin our time by doing bad. Let's just go like all fucko.
So we grabbed a couple while we were at this. So we use like big boy balls. We usually use like 14, 15, even 15 and a half big boy balls.
We're big honking men here. Okay, yeah. we got guns. We know what we're doing.
So we using the big stuff, and well, we're thinking, we're like, oh, let's see how fast we can get one of these light 7-pound balls down the bowling alley.
Yeah, because usually the 7-pound ones have like the tiny finger holes, but we found one that had like the perfect size finger holes. So then you could just wind it all the way back and then just put all of your force into it and just fly it down the lane.
So Alex, he gets the ball first. He whales it down the bowling. I think he probably had it gone like 30 miles an hour. If we're being real here.
I'm a big boy.
And so I probably went 30. And so I'm like, okay, that's funny, but watch this. So I tried taking the bowling ball, and I tried to see how much height I can get on it. And I probably got it, I would say probably a good 2/3 down the lane.
Yeah, because yours like it wasn't like straight up height. It was a lot of horizontal distance, and you straight up got it like 2/3 down the lane. But you were also throwing it extremely fast, so it just flew down the lane. It slammed at the end.
So now we got this one kid that looks like he's just obese as hell. Now we got like these 2 women next to us with like this grumpy ass looking dad. And
yeah, like a whole ass family of suck ass people. Just saying.
And I just got this like they kind of like looked at us like, what the fuck? And I ended up
nuisances too though.
I ended almost getting a spare on that one. We'll just say that. So then Alex is up to bat next, and he's like, okay, I want to see what was it? Was you were trying to get the craziest hook on the thing? Well, in the air, like you got it up and then you hooked it. And Alex ended up doing really good doing that.
Yeah, somehow I think I ended up getting like a strike or like 90.
I think it was a spare.
Yeah, I think
you ended up getting a spare doing that because I couldn't believe it. And so then it was up to me again, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this ball and I'm gonna throw it as hard as I can. So I threw it, and it kind of went in the gutter, as I think was gonna happen. Got second try, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try height again. So I got the height again, and then Alex is up to bat again. And this is where things kind of
let's just say like this whole night was an exponential curve. So it started out like this, and then it just kind of took off into insanity. And you're the one that kind of led the charge, I'd say.
But so like I saw Alex, and then he was like, okay, watch this. So then he like walks up there, and it like kind of goes right through his legs, like over his leg, and then he ends up getting a strike.
Yes.
And I remember you were like, oh my God. And I'm like, oh yes, this gives me an idea.
So you got some adrenaline going after that.
So
the wheels are turning.
The brain's thinking now, and I'm like, okay, let's try to. I wonder if I could like come at this like sideways and try to like put as much spin while I'm running. And so while doing this, I'm going Mach 12 probably. Got this damn thing, and we'll just say the release point didn't really bounce where it needed to go, and I went straight into this back area. So I didn't even land up first. It didn't even land on the gutter. It just went straight into this back area where these employees.
I kind of have a picture of it. I don't really know. Okay, so I took a couple videos, and it's like, here, let me just look up bowling alley. It's hard to explain. So, like, in between lanes, there'd be like 4 lanes, and then there'd be like a little median with a pole, and then it'd kind of be like that going down the whole alley. Let me try to find a perfect picture of this median.
You had this like employee place where like these employees would go to like fix crap, and then they would just go back there in their little rooms.
Yeah. So basically, it was just like there's like a curtain separating like this median with no bowling lane and like a pole, and then there was like a curtain leading to this like back area for maintenance.
And so now there's just this like 6-pound ball going like Mach 12.
I just want to say that you took it, you threw it as hard as you can. It maybe did one bounce in our lane and flew straight through the curtain into the median area. And for all we know, there could have been someone back there that got just clocked in the head by a ball. It was just like got fully knocked out.
And so then Alex is like, you need to chill. And I'm like, okay, I'll chill.
Let's calm down a little bit. So then I took the ball and then I did like a submarine style pitch where I got to as low as possible and almost like slid when I threw it, which is like, it's funny, but it's like, it's not too excessive. It's not too much.
So then I saw what he did and I was like, God, I like baseball too. I'm going to try to do this like fancy ass shenanigans that I saw. So I was like, I'm going to try sidearm here. I'm going to step in this. And I even got the hat going. I was like getting ready for the hat. Did it, pull it up, and I tried to like throwing it. But then, throwing sidearm is not very accurate with the bowling ball. No, and we'll just say it bounced, hit the other lane, and was in some other lane.
Yeah, went into another lane, and at that point, there were still people in that lane? Was it, or was there not?
I think they were like, I think they were leaving. The people that were just there were leaving.
Yeah. They were just leaving, and you threw it into the gutter. But luckily, the gate was down, so it didn't knock down any fucking pins. And after that, I was like, that was the first time I was like, fuck this, I'm out. And I like walked over to the bathroom. Because then like I got back and I was like expecting everything to be fine, but there was still a bowling ball in the gutter next to ours. And I was like, somehow we got to fix this. So then we tried taking one of our balls and throwing it down there to try to like knock it back or something. And of course, like we got one ball back, but the other one was still stuck. So we just left it like that.
Yeah. And so then we ended up from there. It got even more nuts because Alex is like, you need to chill out. And Alex is doing his like little spin now, being like total gentleman like type.
I walked up Captain Persnickety with like the 14-pound ball, went back, and then just threw it up as high as possible and slammed on the ground. Kind of like Will Ferrell and Daddy's Son 2 in that bowling scene where he just throws it up super high and it just smacks on the ground.
Yeah, so then you're just going absolutely like, you're still
going a little nutso, but then you walked up there with all your fucking adrenaline. You were like, oh, let's go. And you had like a green, like 6-pound ball. And you just went full caveman style and threw it over your head. And I could see the testosterone flowing as you shot this ball straight down. And of course, like it came out of your hand, slammed on the ground, and then rolled straight down the middle. And it like took down like 9 pins.
It was insane. And so then I was like,
nuts.
I had gotten that in my head, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try this one hand over the next one. And I tried the next one with like, I think it was an 8-pounder ball because it was an orange one.
Yeah.
And this 8-pounder one, it ended up going straight back where that other one went through in that employee thing. It hits a median.
There was 2 balls through this fucking curtain in the middle, and there was another ball in the gutter that was closed next to ours. So there was just a total scene.
But this one made a lot more noise because it hit like the median, like there was like a
pole.
Cement,
it hit like the pole in the middle.
Hit the pole, and then it bounced over, hit the bumper of the other people's lanes on to the right of us, then bounced kind of near our lane where there was like the crevice. And then it started going straight back into this like room, and we just hear bang, and it bangs into this like it looked like this pillar, this yellow pillar, and then it goes straight back, and it was never to be seen again.
And the thing is, like these balls, when they met into the median area, you'd expect like to hear some kind of like a big crash, but they just flew into there, and it was silent.
Yeah,
which I don't know if it was worse or better. I'm going to say that it was maybe better, but I have no fucking clue.
And so now these people that are like have been with like biased to the right, like they like looked at me like I was nuts with my fancy ass ball. And now here I am just going psycho with like the house balls, just like fucking chucking them over my head. And now it's just like, we got to get the fuck out of here. So then we look at each other and we're like, maybe we should get out now. We don't want to get arrested. So we're like,
No,
yeah, let's go to
there was also a point where you took one ball and you took another, and you like threw one down and then quickly grabbed the other and threw it down. But then the thing is, like the moment the first one went through, the gate would shut. So then it shut on the second one, which was like a 14-pound ball, and it slammed into the fucking gate. And Jesus Christ, I can't imagine. And also, like, there was like workers walking around, like grabbing food and stuff. Like when we were going through all this fucking shit, and they did not care. Like for some reason, they just didn't give a fucking shit about any of the shit that we were doing.
Well, probably is like most of those people that work there, like these kids that like look like they're like absolutely into anime. Is like gay little ass Asian kids.
They look like they're like weed by day, furry by night type kids.
And I'm like, well, I don't know. I always have this like adrenaline. Like it's like to the autistic person that scans my ticket at the movie theater, or the Down syndrome kid that scans my ticket at the movie theater. And then they don't allow me into a rated R movie because I'm not 17 or older. It's like, bitch, just let me into the fucking movie. So we had this little Indian kid the other night that worked at a movie, and I'd bought this rated R movie. Yeah, and he was like, "But you are not over 17." I'm like, "How old are you?" He's like, 16. I'm like, "Okay, so you're the same age as me. Do you go to rated R movies?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, so I'm good to go." And he was like, "No, I like literally can't do this. I will have my manager come." And
what?
I ended up saying, "Okay, fine, do that shit." And so I had Casey, because Casey was with me at the time, and Casey's like, "Jesus Christ, you're being really rude to this person." I'm like, "Because they're just being a fucking ignorance. Like they don't want to be doing this shit."
Why can't they just turn a blind eye for a fucking second and just let you in? What's the big deal?
And I'm like, so this kid's taking his job. And I'm like, Casey, you have like a driver's license or something? He's like, no, I don't. And so I end up going onto my file, and I think I had a picture of my passport, and I ended up somehow I edited it to say 2004. I don't know how I did it.
What do you mean? It just like you had a picture of it and said 2004?
And I showed it to them. I'm like, okay, 2004, and they're like, okay, we see that you were born in 2004, but the problem is it's not actually. We don't have a paper copy of this. So now this person,
you need a paper fucking copy? What?
So now this person's just making my life miserable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Casey, go to your fucking car, go grab your ID, and go give it to these fuckers. And this person's like, well, thank you. And I'm like, I was about to say, and you, fuck off. Like, I literally could not let this person, like, I was like, if he did not accept that ID and he was going to, like, tell me that I wasn't allowed to go to this rated R movie, I probably would have been throwing punches by the end of the night. I was this pissed at this kid. This little Indian kid, I, like, looked at him, and he had, like, this little, like, smirkish smile, like, day. And he just, like, I was just like, I'm ready to knock this fucker out.
Yeah, because, like, when you watch videos of people, like, getting pissed at employees and shit, you're like, what the hell? They're so mean. What? But, like, if you were in the actual situation where some employee was being a dickhead to you, you'd want to get pissed at them, too. Like, we were at Six Flags when we were in California, and it was, like, 105 degrees out. And the fucking Six Flags. And we were all just boiling. So we all went into, like, this nice air-conditioned little shop and like got drinks, and like the first 2 days that we went, it was perfectly fine. Nobody gave a fucking shit. But then the third day we walk in there, and then the employees were like, you guys need to wear masks. And we were like, okay, can we just like buy this real quick? It's not like that huge of a deal. They were like, sorry, no mask, no service. And we were like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? Because like LA County decided to go all fucking nutso and be like, masks are mandatory indoors, even if you're vaccinated. And it's so fucked up. And so, like, we couldn't get these fucking drinks. So then in the heat of the moment, we all just, like, took our bottles and put them, like, our, like, drinks and just put them in random spots. Like, it was, like, this candy store. So, we, like, if you just walked in, you'd just see, like, a Powerade sitting in this, like, sack of licorice. Like, but like, still, it's like in the heat of the moment, it fucking sucks. It's so dumb. Like, I don't care how like much the employees are like told that they shouldn't do it. Like, they can turn a blind eye for a second and they'd be fine.
And there gets to a point where it's like, you pay the money for this shit, you should be able to do that shit. I don't care what age you are. Like, if you're 16 or 15 and you want to go to a rated R movie, you pay that much money of your own money, and the person's gonna try to get you to go to a different movie. It's like, no.
Yeah,
No.
what's the big deal? Like going there with a parent too? Like what's the parent gonna do to help with you seeing a rated R movie? Like that just doesn't make sense at all.
Like, I'll be real honest here. Like, when my mom comes to a movie, it's like, okay, she's sneaking in the vino, and I think my mom's passed out in the AMC chair. Like 20 minutes into the movie, it's like, what's she gonna do? Comfort me from my fears of seeing
Like rated R movies, like a fucking 15-year-old's gonna get scared of a rated R movie. I really don't think so. It'd have to be some rated R movie, and like to be honest.
And I'm just like, okay, and I can see maybe NC-17, like the crazy shit, like
Yeah. If there's like actual like real gore and like actual real sex, yeah, I could see that honestly. If there's like actual real shit going on, then yeah, I could see that. Like if they're showing full on penis, yeah. But like rated R, where they're not even showing all that shit, I don't know about that.
And so I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just sick of employees not doing their job like they need to. Like I talk to Jack all the time about this, and Jack's always like, Jack knows how to butter everyone up to the point where he's making money. Like it doesn't matter what you're doing, he'll butter people up. He's just got that like,
He's got that flow, yeah.
But it's great because it's like once you butter people up, that's how you get money off of them.
Yeah,
that's what I did with Cougar cards. Like I'm like, yeah, I really like your boots. Now would you like to buy a fucking Cougar card? And, like, and it works. Women will be women. They love when you compliment them.
That's true. I don't know. I've complimented women many times, and look at me now.
Well, did you know it was National Girlfriend Day? And I saw this shit on social media.
Hmm.
Did you know it was National Girlfriend Day? And I saw all this shit on social media.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just fun.
And everyone was posting, and I'm like, okay, this is just fucking great. You're like Matthew Culligan.
Oh, Steinar, the full names.
I know.
You gotta stop. Like,
that's bad.
Yeah, National Girlfriend Day. There shouldn't be a thing.
Anyway, a bunch of people post a lot of shit.
When the school year starts, all of our problems will be solved. But as of now, it's just fucking who gives a shit. Am I right?
I don't know. I'm just like, I don't want school to start. I only have a couple of years of my life left where I actually can have fun, and then I gotta get to work and then slay and just become a black slave in Africa.
Yeah, I'm with you. School's starting. It's no fun. Well, I gotta switch the topic from this depression to a bitch named Simone Biles. That I honestly despise her. Honestly, like if you don't despise Simone Biles, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. Because she is like a leader of the Me Too, where they all go on preaching about how all men are rapists and shit. And I want to preface this by saying rape is bad, which should be a given. Like rape being bad is a given. And yeah, I don't support it. But also, like at the same time, if you're saying like all girls have to be careful of all men, that's fucked up. Like you should not say that. Like, what if I just said all men should be careful of all girls? They're bitches. Like, you know how much trouble people would get in for that? Oh, yeah. So, complete bitch. She fucking sucks. Not a fan of her. And so they were doing like I was watching the gymnastics in the Olympics because why not? See some ass. And she was sucking it up. Like, she was sucking some big time asshole in like the team's final or whatever against Russia, and they ended up getting silver. So like for Simone Biles, silver ain't gonna cut it because she's supposed to be the best gymnast to ever walk the fucking planet. She could do 30 fucking spins in one jump. Who gives a shit? And so she got silver, and then she decided like, oh no, my mental health is just decrepit. Me and my social media fame and all my money that I have from doing random flips for a team that I fucking hate. And then she decided that her mental health was too much, that she was getting all depressed, and then she decided to quit on every single individual final. And then she also did the individual all around. She quit on that too, which is fucked up because that is literally her job. Her job is literally to go to the Olympics, do some flips, win gold. That's her job. Yep. But she decided that her mental health was more important than her job, which is kind of a precedent that's being set right now. It's like, take care of your mental health above all. It doesn't matter what kind of what you need to do. It doesn't matter if you're fucking a slave or whatever. And she decided to quit all of this because of her fucking mental health, which is so stupid. It's so dumb because then that's just like telling people it's okay to quit their like jobs and everything that's important just because of some dumb mental health.
Yeah.
Like it's fucked up. Like it's literally her job. Like what if like Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, because the Olympics is basically the Super Bowl. What if he just decided that his mental health was too much and he needed to quit? Like just imagine that. Like that just doesn't happen. And it shouldn't.
I will say that now we're on the topic of like bitchy ass women. Like, yeah, women suck.
Yeah.
The time
Women
when they do
suck.
this type shit. When they do this type of shit, other than that, they're okay.
All right, I gotta admit, sucks be litty.
But we gotta get onto this Rodgers topic here. I did you watch the whole? Did you watch the whole press conference?
I didn't. Wait, when was that? Today?
No, it was a little bit ago. Okay, so actually, I gotta tell you a little heads up. So because right here, right there,
all right,
part owner.
Same here. I don't have the picture on me though.
We're part ownership, so
okay.
You get like the little number thingy. With the number thing, you can go into their live events, and if you have the number, you can hear the shareholders meeting.
Ooh.
So you get to go to the private meetings with Brian Gutekunst. And so I saw a little of that. It was nothing more than a lot of Packer fans with their cameras off when he walked in because they want the fans to cheer and all this shit. But a lot of people said like, you should be. It was like fire, like when he announced like Ernest fire again, and then some people were love, like it was nuts.
Nice.
So really, all the shit that I got from this was not very much because I couldn't really hear much during all this. So it was really just a meeting full of like fuckers to be fuckers.
Yeah, but, just like something to appease the masses, as they do.
As he says, the one thing that kind of like made me think that we were going to get Rodgers back. He made this one statement. He was like, "Well, Rodgers is going to leave. He's going to leave $20 million open this year if he doesn't come back, and if he doesn't come back this year, we're going to have a problem, and he's going to have some like block. It was like some weird type of trade thing that if someone trades for him, they're going to have to take in like $20 million of dead money. So that no one's going to want him. So he's going to have to force into retirement."
What?
So basically what I got from this is like he was going to be in trouble either way. So it would make more sense if he were to play. And what Brian Gutekunst said, he basically said this in some form. But it wasn't in a form that like told you. It was like from the financial standpoint, it just sounded like Rodgers was coming back.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I've had problems with Rodgers in the past. I would like to get over this. I made mistakes. We've all made mistakes. So it sounded like he was almost apologizing for Rodgers to come back. And guess what happens the next day? Rodgers comes back. He gets on the press conference, and they ask him, "So how's it going, Rodgers? How was your time off?" And he's like, "Well, it was okay. I went to Maui this spring. Wasn't great. It was just pretty cold. Not great. I don't know. I went swimming. I don't know. There wasn't much to do. Ate a lot of good food. Went to Cabo. Cabo was okay. It was nice this time, but it was, I don't know. It was okay. Then I went to Salt Lake City. In Salt Lake City, I golfed a little, golfing, getting my mind calm because I've been pretty stressed over all this. But overall,
he's the one that got himself into that. Why is he stressed?
Overall, my vacations were decent. That's what he says. I'm like, okay. So you went to Cabo, you went to Moab, you went to Salt Lake City, you went to Montana, you went to California, you went to the Bahamas. This is just okay. Like I'm kind of like, okay, so that kind of pissed me off in that press conference. And then he makes a statement, and they're like, okay, so Rodgers. So because I was just like how are you doing? Like just like welcome the interviewers. And then he just made that totally all about him. Like he just went off on that. And then the second question they asked was like, so why did you decide to come back? And he's like, well, I have this burning passion in me that I just don't want to hang up these cleats, and I love football, but I don't know if I'm going to be with the Packers for the next couple of years.
Good.
And they're like, and then he says this. Then everyone's like, would you consider? I don't know how. Would you consider playing for the Packers in 2022? And if you wouldn't, what has this team done for you? And he's like, well, I really like to say I thank this Oregon. Actually, I know, no. I thank the fans. He totally was going to say thank the organization. Then he was like, nope, I thank the fans.
What a fucking bitch! That guy
So
sucks.
So now he's saying the only thing that he was happy with was the fans. Everything else, and his teammates were okay. And then he they started, yeah. And so then it gets even better because then they're talking about Jordan Love, and this is when all the shit goes out. Is he made this statement? He was like, they're like, so, what were you thinking when Jordan Love was getting the starting reps? And he's like, well, they drafted my replacement, obviously. Brian Gutekunst doesn't care on what I think. It's not a future for this team. It's end all for him. Brian Gutekunst doesn't know what he's doing. And so now Rodgers is up there just like basically telling Brian Gutekunst that he doesn't know how to run his job. He's going up there, calling out Brian Gutekunst, the general manager, the president of the Packers, basically calling out, and then calling Jordan Love. Yeah, I think he basically said that he was like it was a 6-round pick. 1st-round pick, 6th-round talent.
He said that?
And it was like a statement that he made basically that summed that up in that way.
My gosh.
It was just to demean Love, and he was just going off on this like rampage. And so then Brian Gutekunst, he's just like throwing Brian Gutekunst now under the bus. He's just chucking Brian Gutekunst under this bus now with like saying how he brings up the names now. This is where it gets good. He's like, well, they released Jordy. They released Jordy Nelson. They got rid of Clay Matthews. They got rid of my boy Randall Cobb. They got rid of Corey Linsley. And so now Geronimo Allison. So now Rodgers is just going off on the shit fit on everyone who they released.
Jesus Christ.
And so ended up then I think it was funny because I was watching some podcast after this, and this guy's like, well, what are we going to do? Rodgers just went up on stage, and for 24 minutes straight, he just called out Brian Gutekunst and basically told him that he's a straight-up fucking horrible manager. He doesn't know how to run a fucking franchise.
Doesn't know how to run a franchise. They've literally gone to they've gone to the conference finals so many times in the past 10 years.
And then
what does that mean?
And then a statement but then I will say Brian Gutekunst is kind of a dumb fuck in some ways.
He is a little retarded.
He did make this statement that really, really, really shocked me because it was the day after. They're like, why is Randall Cobb back? Why did he make this trade? And he was like, well, Rodgers really wanted him back. It was all Rodgers' decision. It was the bad man himself's decision.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, that kind of feud just can't happen in a team. That's just not something that should be happening. Like, no stable team has it where like the quarterback just absolutely hates the organization. Like, if Giannis absolutely hated the Bucks, he would never be on the Bucks. He would have gone to the Heat so fast it would make your head spin. But it's just it's outrageous. He doesn't show any thanks to the team that took him and the team that built around him. He just doesn't give a shit.
So now Rodgers is bitched, and now he's bitched out his whole time, this whole thing. So now everyone wants him back. They want him to play for 2022 because who wouldn't? And then, but
I'd rather see him gone and get all the draft picks and stuff.
David Bakhtiari is like, okay, I really want you back, brother. So he buys him an Aston Martin golf cart.
David Bakhtiari is the type of guy that I just really want to be friends with. Yeah, he's up there with Pat McAfee and a few other guys. Just someone that I really just want to be friends with because he's like a fucking nutty guy.
So then it gets even better. I just remember this. So then that all happened, and then Randall Cobb goes on press. And Randall Cobb's they're like, are you glad to be back? And he's like, oh, I'm glad to be back. We'll just say I went to the other side and I'm never going back.
Yeah, he's I've seen what's on the other side. I'm so happy to be back.
my teammates saw me back and they were like, did you just come from prison? And he was like, I kind of felt like it. But here's the problem. I'm not doubting Houston here. I think Houston's an okay franchise. But the problem is they're a newcomer. And Packers, they're a Fortune 500 company. And
That's true.
That made me laugh. So then I'm like, I really love Cobb. But then the thing that really, really, really pissed me off was after the interview with Randall Cobb, Davante Adams steps on the stage, and I'm kind of not really liking Davante now for this.
No, I'm not a fan of the guy. I'd honestly be fine with seeing him and Rodgers go because he's already so old too. And I think this season they'll squeak a good season out of him, but aside from that, I think he'll fall off a big cliff.
So Davante Adams decides to bitch at this press conference and how he kind of agrees with Aaron and said the reason he's not signing this contract is because he doesn't really know where the future of this franchise is going, which, frankly, I don't think Jordan Love's very good either. Kurt Banker all the way. But that's besides the point.
Okay.
And so then he basically says all this shit on how he doesn't know if this franchise is going to be the future, that it needs to be, and that he ends up saying. And I honestly think I'm the best wide receiver in all the NFL right now. I don't think there's anybody that'll beat me. And I think
that's kind of true, though.
And he says, I think I deserve to be the highest paid player, and I'm not going to play if I'm not the highest paid player.
And so if you realize that they just don't have that kind of money for him.
And so if you were going to make him the highest paid player based on non-negotiable contracts with so if you're going to make it so it's half of it's guaranteed, if we're looking at all contracts, there's this one contract, you want to say it's up there, but it's 28.9 a year, which is more than some quarterbacks make.
Jesus Christ. He wants $28 million a year?
28.9 is the highest, and he says he wants to be higher than him. So he's probably looking in $29-30 million range.
Fuck me. That is insane.
And if you know this, the Packers for next year, if we were to sign everyone to the contract we have on now, it would be we would have $46 million over our cap.
It's so bad. But if we got rid of Rodgers, then we'd be able to keep the exact same team.
No, because we would still have $14 million left to get rid of.
Oh, then just dump off some fuckhead like Jordan Love or maybe Adams. I mean, Adams if he still has a number one receiving year, which I kind of doubt, then I think we should unload him and Rodgers and just get build up a big time future.
So now I just couldn't believe this. So now Davante is just having to flip out
I gotta go piss extremely bad. So I'm gonna go for 1 second. You keep talking though.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, I'm gonna die.
So Davante's just been such a crybaby throughout the years. It's just I don't really know where the Packers are going as a franchise. On top of this, you got Tennessee, which is trying to build up a wide receiver core. You got Arizona, which is trying to build up a wide receiver core. You kind of got a little bit of Los Angeles Rams trying to build up a wide receiver core. We just don't know where Davante Adams is going to land himself with. I don't think he's going to be playing next year, so I'm thinking that he's either going to Cardinals. I actually think the Rams would be a pretty high possibility because they think are pretty low on cap room for 2022, 2023. And Oakland, Oakland's actually another place that he could go. But
Okie dokie.
There's my rambling session. Oh, Alex is gone.
Wait, give me
your turn now. Now I gotta go.
Oh, you gotta piss too? Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. Well, if you haven't seen already, the Cubs unloaded their entire team. They're just gone. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do this season, but it ain't good. Obviously, the earlier part of the season they were doing good because they had a very easy schedule. But into the second half after the All-Star break and maybe a little bit before that, they went on some big-time losing streaks. And by big time, I mean big-time losing streaks. So, not good. And they decided to unload Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant, Javier Baez, all in a day, right before the trade deadline. So, they're entire team from the entire team from that they've been carrying for so long with like Contreras and stuff like that is just pretty much just like disintegrated. They have no one except for they have that one black outfielder that I can't remember the name of. He's pretty shit, and also he has like a big time contract. But like the Cubs are fucked. Let's just face it. They are just down the fucking gutter. And they're probably going to be for a while. They're going to get like they got a huge load of prospects and picks from the Giants, the Yankees, and the Mets, where they all went to. And yeah, they're fucked, and it makes me very happy to say that the Cubs are officially fucked for the next like 5 seasons.
I'm loving baseball right now because Rockies are 12-11 on this
12
year
11?
after the All-Star break, and 12-11 is for them. It's looking like they could get back up to 500.
I mean, possibly they have a lot of ground to cover too, though.
But this year they've I couldn't believe this. And this last from when they've gotten back from the All-Star break, this month alone they've won 9 away games.
Really?
Which is insane.
That is unprecedented for that team.
They did 2 out of 4 against the Padres.
Yeah.
And today was a bad day for them. It was 1-8. But yesterday was like 6-4. The day before that was like 9-3. We won. And then the day before that was 1-0. So, I mean, like, the Rockies, I've seen, like, in the Rockies, like, they're actually not that bad of a franchise now. I've seen their pitching. The pitching's looking like it's actually becoming a staple. And then, I mean, Story wasn't heating up. So I don't know why they didn't trade Story, because I don't think he's that good.
Honestly, I would have loved to see Story go to the Brewers. Like, they were doing a lot of talks about it, and of course they fucking didn't, because any Wisconsin team just doesn't really like to make trades like that.
But I mean, like, really, I think the Rockies will have a successful future one day with Randall Tapia. Like, he's on base 75% of the times he's at bat.
Is his on base percentage that good?
I think it was like 69.8 last I looked. It was insane.
Jesus Christ. Dude, that NL West is fucking stacked with the Giants, Dodgers, and Padres. Also, the Brewers are tied for the 4th best record in baseball right now with a win percentage of .594, which is pretty insane. And I don't know how the fuck they're doing that I don't know how the hell the Brewers are doing so good with their current team, because their current team is okay at best. Well, like, their pitching, they have like top 3 out of the top 5 pitchers, they have like the top 3 starting, which is insane. Like, they have Corbin Burns, the other Woodruff, and then Peralta, who are just fucking going insane. And so, and then they have Willy Adames and Omar Narvaez, who are the best hitters, and Willy Adames picked up from the I think it was the Rays, and he was like batting 190 with the Rays, but now with the Brewers he's batting 300. And Omar Narvaez is like this big like catcher they have, who's batting 300, but also has hit like over 20 home runs.
That's like let's burn the Rockies again, but there's so like Randall Tapia is probably one of my go-to guys on that team I love. But there's this new guy that's really, really doing well. Look him up, Connor Joe.
Yeah, his batting average is .289, and on base percentage is .730.
Yeah,
that ain't bad.
So then look up Connor Joe.
Connor Joe, is he?
He's an Asian guy, but he's probably like my new second favorite player on that team.
Oh my gosh, batting .279 and on base percentage of .768. Jesus Christ, he's a third baseman.
Yeah,
and he's got 2 first names. That's even better.
I know. I'm in my crazy shit, so I like those 2. And then there's this new guy that they brought out of prospects named Sam Hilliard. And he's like, he either gets a home run or he strikes out. But he's got like this insane potential where these home runs are like no doubt are home runs. Like they're 418, 420 easily.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, his batting average is a .76, but his home runs are 5. And when did he join?
He joined, I want to say a little bit ago, but he's been in and out of like the AAA.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus. Let's see. Oh, no way the batting average leaders. What? I feel like ESPN is really bad on their stats, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I thought Sam Hilliard was like batting like a 209, but I could be wrong.
Wait. Willie Adames has an on-base percentage of .816, and his batting average has evened out to .258, which is deceiving because with the Brewers, he's batting 300.
Yeah.
Here, let's see Omar Narvaez. Yeah, he has – oh, my God. He has 32 – no, wait. That's RBIs. He has 9 home runs. I was fucking with you with the over 20. I was really wrong. But his batting average is .286. I thought it was 300. But his on-base percentage is also .816. They're hitting on the Brewers is shit. Like, it's not good. Their best batting average is a .28. But their pitching is fucking nutty. Like, their starting pitchers are insane.
If you look it up, I actually want you to look this up for me. Look up how many home runs have the Rockies scored on this last road trip. You're gonna be shocked when you see this number. I was shocked.
Run from Rockies in. Didn't pull up much. How much is it? I don't know if there's any. There's no good way of me looking it up.
Anyway, so from playing the Angels. Oh, did I just tell you how they did with the Angels?
No.
They went 2 for 4. We'll just say Shohei kind of ruined. We would have had 3 for 4, but Shohei had to get two run homers in one night because that's all he does. This pitcher's hit now, and yeah, so he kind of made the Rockies lose that one, which really pissed me off. And then when they played Mariners, so they went 1 for 2 on the Mariners. They went 2 for 4 on fucking Angels. They went 2 for 4 on Dodgers and 2 for 4 on Padres. But with the 2 for 4, they scored a total of 16 home runs. 16
on the last road trip.
And this last couple road trip, and they've lost a lot of them. Like they've lost the games, but they're scoring on the road, which is a monumental thing because the Rockies don't score home runs, especially on the road.
Really?
Yeah. Like if you look at their last on the road percentage, they would have to have 6 hits to every 1 run earned. That's horrible.
Really?
And then this last road trip, it was like 1.3 hits to every 1 run earned. Like it got insane.
Dude, Christian Yelich is so bad with his injuries. He's like injured again.
Actually, the Rockies injured Fernando Tatis.
Really?
Yeah. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
Look up the injury.
Is it bad?
I mean, I think they said he fractured or broke his shoulder.
No way.
Yeah, look it up.
That is.
Look up the injury. It's actually insane. Watch it on video.
Here, let's see this.
Do you have it on YouTube?
No, I'm trying to pull it up, but this fucking.
It should come up pretty easily. I've been watching it a couple times.
Got an ad. Got an ad. 1 sec. Ooh. Wait, I'm going to have to see the slow-mo of this because he's sliding in. Okay, so McMahon did a really big fuck-up, and then Fernando tried to steal.
Yep.
And then... Did he already have an injury or something?
He already had some scuffed up arm problem. And then on top of it,
So when he slid and his arm was dragging, it like must have like activated that injury or something. So like how long is he out for?
I don't know. I didn't see him in. They didn't have anything in it today. He was still being evaluated.
On 10-day injured list. So not terrible. Wait a minute. Season-ending surgery for Fernando Tatis is on the table if it doesn't get improved. So like there's a chance that he's gonna need surgery and he's gonna be out for the fucking season.
I know.
Holy shit! Because he had a pretty firm grip on that
team,
like on the MVP almost.
Yeah, and then that team
for
too.
the National League.
Without him, their on base percentage, I think they said today, it drops 10% lower.
10%?
Because he's responsible for the most hits on that team.
Oh my God, that is terrible.
And so the great thing with that is that Brewers, I mean, if they do go somewhere, they're going to have a chance this year. Even though
Brewers? The Brewers are way over the Padres because the Padres win percentage is a .565 and the Brewers had a .594, which is pretty fucking crazy. Like I don't know how the fuck they're doing so good. Their last 10, they're at 7-3. That's crazy. And Steinar is out. Maybe you'll join back in. Brewers are going fucking nutty here, which is awesome. And well, we're at 52 minutes and Steiner's gone, so I might just end it here. Thank you for watching. This one's a little short, honestly. Let's see. What's our average? Have we done a 52-minute? Lowest we gone is 54. Whatever. Let's set a new record for 52 minutes. See you guys later. It's been fun. I'm going to be sure to spam this on a lot of YouTube videos and Reddit threads.